It is lunch hour here in Syracuse, New York, 12:44 in the east, 9:44 a.m. in the west. Greetings to you one and all. Boost the Cuse 2023 rolls on, our biggest day of fundraising in the entire calendar year. I'm Scott Hansen, Syracuse grad, 1993, former Syracuse football player, 89 to 92. More on that in just a second, because I'm always ready for some football, and I know many of you are as well. We're going to have the main man on campus when it comes to the pigskin join us live here in studio in a matter of moments. Head coach Dino Babers will be with us. But we want to encourage you to continue the generosity and the spirit that you have been sending us throughout these first handful of hours. This is show number 5 of 16 that we are doing through the entire morning, afternoon, all the way to midnight as we celebrate all things orange and our great Syracuse University. But first, before we get to Coach Babers, let's go over to Chris Velarde, who is with Alex McKelvey, the interim dean of the Whitman School of Management.
Joined now by Alex McKelvey, interim dean at the Whitman School of Management. Thanks for being part of Boost the Cuse.
Thanks, it's my pleasure. What an exciting day.
We appreciate it. You've been interim dean now for about a year, but you've been with Whitman on faculty for 15 years. What excites you about where Whitman is right now in the world?
Well, Whitman has had this amazing upwards trajectory. It's really a school on the rise. It's an ascending school. We have so many different proof points that suggest that Whitman is at the best that it's ever been. And I really think, from the faculty role and the administration role, we can pinpoint 2 things. Number one is we've rolled out some amazing student programming, really supporting students in their professional and personal growth. And these include things like experiential learning, to travel, to exposing students to global experiences. But we've also really brought in a lot of new faculty. Just over the last 5 years, we've brought in a lot of new talent doing really interesting, impactful work. But importantly, when they infuse that work into the classroom, we're really exposing students to topics that we hadn't covered before. So we've been able to expand our educational portfolio by bringing in new faculty and also bringing in a lot of new programs. So it's really exciting.
Part of what I think sets Whitman apart is a focus on entrepreneurship. And you have students coming to Whitman who are aspiring entrepreneurs. How do you support those students?
Well, entrepreneurship is actually one of the hallmarks of the university. Whitman and Syracuse University was one of the first entrepreneurship programs in the world. And so we've won a number of national and global awards for that. And I think what sets us apart is by identifying entrepreneurship as a unique department, as a unique program. And what that means is we're able to focus specifically on supporting students in entrepreneurship. And to do that, we have entrepreneurship faculty who are experts in different parts of entrepreneurship, whether it's on mental health, whether it's on public policy, whether it's on finance, whether it's on marketing.
It's not just business. There's a lot to it.
It's a lot of different parts.
Yeah.
And by having amazing classes, these rich experiences, and then working with other people around campus to have great competitions, funding through our alumni base, we've basically provided this kind of all-encompassing support that's truly dedicated to entrepreneurship, as opposed to saying it's just an add-on to marketing or management or any of the other schools. Yeah. So it's really something that's really unique. And by providing incubator space, a lot of coaching and mentoring, we've had some great success with student entrepreneurs as well.
You just mentioned it, funding through alumni, and that's what Boost the Cuse is about, right? It's about giving back to Syracuse University. Why is that so important at Whitman, and what are some of the examples of how support from alumni helps current students?
Great, so alumni contribute tremendously to our success in terms of being able to provide the financial resources that allow our students to participate in these activities that we create. By allowing us to create new courses, we use funding from our alumni base to create an innovation fund, which drives a lot of new course creation. We have alumni who provide non-financial support by mentoring students, by interviewing students, by giving them a chance to get an internship with work, and even just coming back and speaking to classes or being part of a panel to share their success stories from what is it like to be in industry, what is it like to graduate successfully from Whitman and then pay it forward. Yeah. So there's so many different ways that alumni can give back, from sharing time, sharing knowledge, and in some cases sharing wealth, to really get a lot of these programs up and off the ground.
And look, that connection benefits both sides. It benefits the alumni, it benefits the students.
It is, and we talk a lot about being in part of the Orange family. Yeah. And so what that means is not you're part of the family for 4 years and then you leave. It's a lifelong commitment, and we know when we talk to alumni who are more senior how much that one individual made a difference in their life. by taking a chance on them, by opening a door to them. So we're hoping that a lot of our alumni are able to pay it forward to our current students, who in turn, 10 years, 20 years from now, will continue to do that. So when we have a robust, successful program where we really help students be successful and achieve their goals, we know that there's going to be a lifelong commitment. So we're really looking to leverage that Orange network, that Orange family to support our current students as well.
And that's part of the experiential opportunities that are available to Whitman students. I look on social media, I look on LinkedIn, I feel like Whitman students are all over the place all the time.
Well, they are. And so I think business education and entrepreneurial education is fundamentally experiential. You can't just read about it. You actually have to do it. You need to try it. You need to get your hands dirty. So we have a quite robust portfolio of different programs that are specifically focused on being experiential. Now, some of those are field-based. Like you go and you have an internship for the summer, for a few weeks, and you get to apply a lot of your knowledge. But we also have a number of programs where students get to work with real money, work with real companies. One of our signature programs is the Orange Value Fund, which is created by Mr. Whitman, his support in terms of finding value investments. And our students actively manage a multi-million-dollar portfolio of value investments. So they're students working with real money and learning how their decisions have real impact. And so that is one of the many types of programs that we offer outside of the classroom, but even in the classroom, where we try to make it real for students, putting them into role play, using cases, bringing in project-based learning when you're actually solving a program or a problem for a real company. That type of thing is the hallmark of quality business education, and therefore it's also central to what we're doing.
When these students do graduate and go out into that real world, that world is constantly changing. How do you best prepare those students for the fact that what they're facing tomorrow may be different 2 days from now?
So that's a great question, because that's really, we recognize we're in a world of accelerating change. And so to be able to prepare students for that, knowing it's not just their first job that matters, but their career. I think there's two ways we really do that. One is through inspiration, by making sure that what we're talking about inspires them to continue learning, knowing that the time they're with us is the beginning of the journey, not the end of the journey. So getting them to be curious, getting them to be aspirational, getting them to want to continue to be to learn and improve, that's something that we can craft while they're with us. The other part is by making sure they actually have the professional and the hard skills to be able to navigate those things. Understanding when do you need to pivot, understanding how do you be resilient, understanding how do you deal with some of these complex issues that you're dealing with, so that we have the business and the professional and also the personal acumen to be able to go and do those things, so that they're not only just dreamers and inspired to do great things, but they also have the tools and the abilities to psychologically deal with some of those challenges, but also have the hard skills to be successful at their jobs.
No matter what those challenges may be, because it's sometimes very difficult to predict them.
Well, and that's part of the issue. And that's why by having the inspiration and by opening up a lot of those different doors and exposing them to different ideas, they'll have some knowledge of what's perhaps to come, and then we'll know how to ask better questions and find answers to things as they come up. And we can't predict what's going to happen 10 years from now with great accuracy, but if we give them the great background, the fundamentals, they'll hopefully still succeed knowing that those changes are coming.
Yeah, it takes a whole team, and we're glad you're part of that team. Alex McCovey.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Whitman's a great school, and we're doing a lot of amazing things to support our students.
Thank you for being part of Boost the Cuse.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm a naturally hyped up guy, Coach Dino Babers. But when you walk through that door here in the Dick Clark Studios at the world famous SI Newhouse School of Communications, the walk-on in me snapped, the spine got straightened, and I was ready to go. Head coach Dino Babers joining us live amidst spring ball. Coach, thank you for taking the time to be a part of this special day when we boost the Cuse. How are you, sir?
Scott, it's a pleasure to be sitting next to you. I hope I don't start stuttering and all that kind of stuff, because I really didn't think I had a speech impediment. But if I do, it's because I'm sitting next to you, the royalty of Newhouse. Now, I've got to say this, though. When I did walk in the building,
yes, sir,
and I saw Dick Clark, the first thing I think about is all those trips with my dad in the military, with the rest of my family, driving across the United States, listening to the top 40
countdown.
with Dick Clark.
Sunday afternoons, yeah.
Absolutely, because there was no CDs, there was no FaceTime, there was AM and FM, and everybody knew who Dick Clark was because that's all you had to listen to in your Impala or your Ford or your Chevy or your Pontiac. That's all you had to listen to. So again, appreciative of him and appreciative of what you've done so far.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach, and like Dick Clark, like so many of our distinguished alums and the thousands that are probably joining us around the country and around the world right now have become a part of this special institution, as you have now for more than a handful of years. And what have you discovered about, I think you were a part of maybe 15 different colleges and universities as a coach growing through your career.
You did your homework well.
Yes, and so you know the difference between places.
Absolutely.
What to you makes Syracuse University special?
Well, first of all, it's different. Okay, when you talk about the international flavor that goes on here, you're going to get to experience everything that you need to experience, not only to be a national player with your degree, but you can be an international player with that degree as well. There's really only two S's in the United States of America. One's east of the Mississippi. We know that as Syracuse University.
Yes.
One's west. We don't talk about it, but some people call it Stanford. But there's only two.
I got you.
Okay, and there's only one in the Eastern Hemisphere. So if you're big time and you're going to be international and you're going to go abroad, hey, you've got to do your studies here at Syracuse University.
And with all due respect to that great academic institution out there in Palo Alto, this is the Block S that truly matters when it comes to, well, certainly all things orange here. Coach, how about a spring football report? Now, I watched your entire news conference on day one a couple of days ago, and all the reporters were peppering you with questions. How does this guy look? How's that guy? Who impressed you? Whatever. And you just kept going back to, when the pads get on, we'll find out. When the pads get on, we'll find out. Pads aren't on yet. What's the spring prognosis? Where are we at?
I think we've got a lot of young people wanting to make a change, wanting to move up the depth chart. Some that are really high on the depth chart better make a change or they're going to move down the depth chart. They're excited. They're moving around at a high up tempo, which excites me. They're eager. We've got some new coaches out there kind of feeling their way a little bit. This was day 2 of practice in shorts. And we'll have one more of those feel good, look good practices on Saturday in shorts. And then we'll start separating the you-knows from the you-knows on Tuesday when we start playing real football.
You got any good walk-ons this year? No, that's not a real question. That's too self-serving. If you've got good walk-ons, what they are is good practice players. Guys that will bust their butt in the scout team, never complain about everything, do everything right, be told once to do something and do it. That's what I tried to do when I tried to contribute here to my years. But
we had a walk-on last year that ended up getting a scholarship right before the season started, Kayvon Darton, who was our our nose tackle. And he went from guy that didn't have a scholarship to one of the best defensive linemen in the conference.
Beautiful story.
And really, what I told him, he played so well, nobody put him on the doggone all-star team. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? I mean, you can't miss him. He looks like one of those, and he's only this tall. But man, his heart is this big.
Love it.
And if he plays the way he played last year, there's a lot of people that are going to recognize not only who he is, but he'll show up on an ACC all-star team this year.
Awesome. How do you build on last year? We had the undefeated streak to the start of the season. There were text messages, chat groups flying back and forth. All of my old friends and my old teammates were so proud, making it to a bowl game, trying to build on the successes that we saw in the last year to make this a truly special season.
I got to talk about last year. Let me talk about one last year.
Okay. And through injuries, I didn't even mention the injuries that you had to get.
I've never seen this happen before. We had a whole bunch of media people come out and say, they have to do this, they have to do that, they have to do this, this is the limits, da-da-da. Everybody had their opinion, okay? After we went 6-0, I've never seen media have an article where they say, well, we ripped up all our original opinions.
Oh, well. Welcome to my world,
now,
Coach.
These are the new opinions. These are the new things that need to go on. And I'm like, I've never seen this before. You can't rip up a report card. You said this is what has to happen. In 12 games, it happened in 6, and they ripped it up and gave us a new agenda. But the main thing is we started off nice, as well as you can, perfect for 6 games. We really did have a lot of injuries. And sometimes you can have injuries, but we've had the most injuries last year than I've ever seen in 35 years of coaching. And that's part of the game. I mean, that's God's will. The bad thing is we could have had something that was really special, but he decided not to, and we had some injuries. Those guys that got hurt get to come back. I always try to turn a negative into a positive. The negative is, well, it hurt us last year. The positive is it should help us this year. And it's really exciting if we can close up one or two positions and really get them to grow quickly. It's exciting what we might have that a lot of people have no clue. And it's not their fault. They don't know of how this season can turn out. And we got to wait and see, though. We've got to wait and see if we can close those holes.
Quick note on the NFL draft. You know, our world in pro football starts to pivot away from free agency, and we've had pro days and whatnot. The NFL draft right around the corner. Who are names from Syracuse that people might want to keep an eye out on? Day 1, day 2, day 3, or after when the free agents sign?
Michael Jones, our heartbeat on defense. I really compare him to, this guy's going to get mad at me. He's similar to, I won't say I compare him to, he is similar to Zaire Franklin, who came out of here a while back as a 7th-round draft pick that nobody knew his name and thought he was going to get cut. And now he's got a second contract with the Indianapolis Colts, has a young son, I want to say. I hope I got that right. And he has a nice new second group contract.
Yes, sir.
Second contract with the Colts, which should make him.
For those who don't know, that's the big money contract. If you make it to past your rookie contract, you get signed again in a second contract, that can set you up for life. Yeah.
Second contract, which makes him a check mark on Facebook and the internet and all that other kind of stuff. And also one of those guys that we've got to get back to start donating back to the school, because now I'm sure he's in a position where he can help out a little bit.
Well, you were a television pro here because you just helped me segue. We're here on the day of giving. Syracuse University alums who have been impacted by this university in a number of different ways, including athletically, including the way that a football team or a basketball team can galvanize a campus, a living alumni base, and bring people together that were on this campus 30 years ago when I was here. People can donate directly right now to football. Now, I can already hear some people saying, the football team gets millions of dollars. The football team gets this and that, and and look at the JMA wireless, all these type of things. Make a pitch right now for someone, if they want to make a difference in a young man's life or a group of young men that are under your charge and your coaching staff's charge, that a donation to the football program or one of their favorite athletic programs would help make an impact in a life, not just a football helmet.
You know, absolutely. Is this my camera?
Well, please, have at it.
No, have at it. I saw that on TV.
This one's actually what we call the one shot. Yep.
Okay.
Punch is one shot up.
I'm not going to share your camera, this guy. I think the biggest thing you've got to understand is that every dollar matters. Yep. And not only can you help the football team, but you can help the athletic department. You can take these dollars and you can actually gear them to where you want them to go to. They can go to the soccer program, the women's basketball program, the athletic program, or you can gear it right into the football program. And those dollars do matter. And if we'll take one person giving 100, or we'll take 100 people giving one.
Let's go.
It adds up the exact same way. But this is a university and an athletic department that you want to support. It's on the rise. It's on the move. And we're not going to let the dollars and cents of the world stop us from being everything that we can be and achieving all the things that we can achieve. Boom, back at you.
My man. I've seen your interviews. This is the first time I've had the pleasure of interviewing the head football coach at my beloved alma mater right here. And the only thing you didn't mention, which I know is one of your favorites, Ohana.
Okay.
The atmosphere that you want to create that transcends just wins and losses, first downs, turnovers on a football field. Tell us about it, please.
Okay, here's the Ohana thing.
Yep.
Okay, I was raised in a military family. My dad's passed away. He's buried in the National Cemetery in Houston. He raised us how to survive after he was gone. Now, don't worry, I've got 2 brothers, 3 sisters. I have a mom that's still alive. I got nieces and nephews, and we love the heck out of each other, okay? We may not say it enough. Most of the time we don't. But you got to tell people that you love them. And the strangest thing is for men to tell each other that they love each other. So I go and I play at the University of Hawaii. You get off the plane. Some strange female puts a lei around your neck and kisses you right on the cheek. And I'm like, this is great. You don't even know them. But when you're playing in that state, you're playing in that aloha state, and you're playing with that aloha spirit, you find out really how important it is to tell people that you love them. And that's one of the things that I took away from that state is that I've got to take that and implement it into my family. And that's what I did. I started hugging and kissing, and they're like, what in the heck are you doing? I don't care. Stop doing that. And I said, I'm going to keep doing it because I'm bigger than all you guys. I'm stronger than all you guys, and you guys can stop me. And I'm going to do it until you start giving it back. Now, when you go to a family reunion, you see kisses and you see hugs all over the place. I'm not saying that I started it, but I'm glad that I got an opportunity to see it. I'm not done yet. I'm on the move. Okay, now we're going to up-tempo this. There's two other people that we need to talk about if you're going to talk about draft day. Okay, we've got Sean Tucker getting drafted this year. And what an amazing tailback. Somebody that is going to be a difference maker in the NFL. There's things that he can do that people have not seen yet based off of us not being able to get to all of his abilities. But once again, he's a person that I think a lot of draft people are going to be looking for, and a name that you're going to hear on draft day. And then the person that's probably got the most attention, we had 32 NFL teams here Monday.
Love it.
Oh, did I say Monday?
Yeah.
I said Monday. Is it this Monday? Yeah, it was this Monday.
Yeah,
So was that like, what, 2 or 3 days ago?
You're correct. We are live right now here on Thursday, so.
32 NFL teams.
There's
to
only
watch
32 of them in the whole league.
Last
so
time I checked,
that means
we're not
everyone.
talking about USFL,
all
and
hands
XFL
on
and all
deck.
that kind of stuff. So 32 teams, and then we've got a young man from the northern border above the line by the name of Matthew Bergeron that came here as nobody knew him to a camp, came to a camp, didn't have a scholarship offer, didn't have a star. You know, he's a no-star guy. The last no-star guy like this was some guy by the name of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Heard of him.
Okay, so he was a no-star guy, came here, came to our camp, got into our camp. We're like, who is this guy? We don't know who this guy is. And before the camp was over, he had everybody's eyes. I think he accepted our offer like 1 to 2 weeks later, and the rest is history. You have a guy that had 0 stars out of high school, came to a camp because one of his buddies came to a camp, got offered a scholarship here at Syracuse University, and now he's been a 4-game starter at left tackle, and he may be the highest draft choices that we've had in the last 7 years coming down in the draft. And our northern brothers, our Canadian friends, hey, everybody in the state of New York, and especially at Syracuse University, we have IDs, we have driver's license, and we have passports. That's how we roll.
I love it.
So we have no problem representing those young men, and if those young men want to come down here and come to Syracuse University, let's have them, because we've got the education and we've got the background, we've got poutine, we've got everything that you need to eat here. Come on down.
I love it. That is a pitch and a half right there. Coach, I know, look, for the NFL draft, you'll be a proud papa when you see those guys go on to the next level. You got your team to attend to, have an amazing series of spring practices, and we can't wait to see you roll it out there again in the fall at the JMA Wireless Dome.
Scott, you are good. You sure you don't have any eligibility left?
Football's my wheelhouse, so, you know, my wheelhouse in Newhouse. And I could do this for another hour, but they are giving me a rap because guess what?
What's that?
We're going to get an update on the money. Should we show them the money? Should we show us the money now?
What was Tom Cruise? Was that Tom Cruise?
Yep, sure.
Okay.
And Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that.
Jerry Maguire.
I understand it.
Head coach Dino Babers, our head football coach here, going for another double-digit win season. I'm saying it right now, speaking it out here. Dino Babers, thank you so much, Coach, for the time.
You should be a word, god dang it. Is that 5 letters? Is it 4?
A word. You know, I'm not a word.
Are you a double T?
I mean, no, I did pass the grammar, spelling, and punctuation test that you have to take and pass here. And I see the Newhouse students all over the place laughing when I say that. But so I can get it done. I know how to spell Ohana, too. So.
Oh, that's 5 letters.
Coach, get it done. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know it's not easy to get away from the practice field here during spring ball. And now, for those updated totals that we just talked about, let's go over to one of our grad students here. Maddie Mustian is with us. Maddie, talk to us. How is Boost the Cuse working in the lunch hour?
Thanks, Scott. I don't know how to follow up with Coach Babers, but I'm going to try.
Just do as much energy as you got.
I do have the money, though. So thank you all for donating and watching. There was a comment in the chat. Someone was watching all the way from Florence. I mean, come on.
Love it.
Syracuse is great. Florence is great. Let's take a look at some of those numbers. Coach Baber talked about we could have one person donating $100. We could have 100 people donating $1. Any donation counts, and that's what this tally is right here. We have a goal of 6,000 donors. So no donation is too small. Any amount helps. We're currently at 37% of our donors. So we have just over 2,000 donors that have donated. And look at that. We're close to that $1 million mark, which is crazy. It's only the 1244 update, but we're hoping to pass that, get it all the way up to the 100% mark for our donors, probably within the next hour or so. So keep on donating. Hit that give now. If you're on the website, that's how you donate. Some of our leaderboards here. We almost have the entire country orange. We're still waiting on kind of that northwestern part of the country. So if you're watching from there, $5, $10, give whatever you can. No donation is too small. Get your state on the map. Let's fill that up with orange. And we're talking about the whole world getting all of our countries here. I mean, crazy. We have across the Atlantic Ocean all the way to Canada. Pretty good. We have our passports here. We can get those donations from there as well. Some of those challenges too. We were talking about this earlier. I'm a grad student, class of 2023, but those seniors too. For that 2023 challenge, once 230 seniors make their class act gift, the chancellor will provide an extra additional $5,000. So that will be great addition to our almost $1 million tally up there. That's going to do it for now, but keep donating, keep sharing your donations, or your favorite Syracuse memory, favorite thing to do on campus with that hashtag BoostCuse. But Scott, let's send it over back to you.
Maddie, great job. Thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on those numbers here as, it's great to see. It's great to see people acknowledging Syracuse for what it is, reminiscing, looking forward and whatnot, but to do it and to put our money where our mouth is, quite frankly, and to want to be able to say that we helped boost the university that boosted us through our formative years in life. And I say we with Chris Velarde right here, a man who spent 20 years as a broadcaster himself. And
I did.
You brought me over here to the comfy couch here to show where my last donation to Newhouse went.
There it goes. It's a very nice couch, by the way. Yeah, we're gonna turn the tables. I will interview you for 5 minutes. You got to interview Dino, Coach Babers, and so we'll turn the tables.
I endeavor to be as good of an interview subject as Coach Babers just was 5 minutes ago.
Well, first to thank you for flying across the country to be here with us and lead this broadcast today.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
And I know flying across the country is really no big deal for you because you're a world traveler. You love to travel. Where are some highlights?
You know what? I was bitten by the travel bug during my years at Syracuse, as a matter of fact, as part of the Syracuse football team. Back in 1989, my freshman year, we went to what was then called the Coca-Cola Bowl. It wasn't an official bowl game, but the Coca-Cola Corporation used to take 2 American football teams, collegiate teams, over to Japan.
Oh, wow.
And Coach Dick McPherson, head coach at the time, decided, as an amazing, magnanimous move by him, took the whole team. Not just the travel squad, the guys on the 2 deep and 3 deep. He took the walk-ons, he took the scrubs. And we had an experience in Tokyo, Japan of practicing for a week. And I said, this world is amazing. And Syracuse University helped me go on one of my first international trips. And now I've gone to, as an adult, 6 of the 7 continents, probably 20, 30 some countries, exotic places. I've gone into the Amazon jungle. I've gone into the Andes Mountains in Peru. I've climbed Kilimanjaro in Africa. I've been very blessed to go, and the imagination that was sparked in me here on this campus has been able to go and see some things that have been incredible in my life.
You know, that football trip that Coach Mack took you all on sounds a little Ohana-like to me, right?
You know what?
The whole family's coming.
Now, I could only imagine how Coach Mack would have pronounced Ohana. I've got a great different Coach Mack story. Coach Mack used to stretch with us. Now, Coach Mack was, rest his soul, he lived a good long life, but he was already, up there in years when I was playing in 89 and 90, his last 2 years on campus. He used to stretch with us, and what he would do during stretches was this. He would yell out a random hometown, just a random town, city, anywhere. And it was one of the hometowns of one of the 100 guys on the football team. And it was ingenious, I thought, because stretching, guys get lazy, guys get bored stretching. I don't want to stretch or whatever. But you had to hear your name because you had to give him a holler. You had to give him a woo when he yelled Rochester, Michigan, my hometown where I'm from, because you were always listening. Does Coach Mack know me? Is he going to acknowledge me and whatnot? And he would, yell out Elmira, Rochester. He'd go through his whole New England states and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he was just an amazing man, and he cultivated a football family life and was a tremendous winner, of course, and a Hall of Famer in college football.
Yeah, left an impression on so many.
Yeah.
So Rochester, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
How did you get from Rochester, Michigan to Central New York?
Well, I drove
to
on the
Syracuse
QEW
University?
through Toronto, came down Niagara Falls. No. So I knew at a young age 2 things. By early high school, mid-high school, I loved football, but I wasn't blessed enough to be an NFL talent. So I'm like, I'm not going to make a living playing this great game. But my parents were amazing people, are amazing people, and blessed me with the sense of, if you can find something that you love to do, that you have passion, try and make a career out of it. So I said, I can't play football, but let me get it straight. These people on TV talking about the game, they're at the game. They get to be with the players and the coaches and the excitement of the fans. I said, that's what I want to do. And my father and I researched, pre-internet research. We researched.
Went to the library?
We went to the library. Got Sport Magazine. Do you remember Sport Magazine?
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that Bob Costas went to Syracuse University, and he went there because a guy named Marty Glickman went there, and Marv Albert went there, and Dick Stockton, and the names that I would watch on TV all the time. And I said, let's examine Syracuse. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to go to Syracuse because it had the best broadcast journalism program in the country and the best sports broadcasting program in the country. And on top of that, I still had the football bug.
Right.
I wasn't a recruited player. I was probably a Division III talent, but I wanted to walk on the team. And do you have 30 seconds for a quick story? Okay, so Coach Mack's the coach.
16 hours of program.
We got
16 hours of Cuse content.
We're going to be looking like Jerry Lewis in the old March of Dimes telethon.
Right.
Like our collars are going to be over here. We're going to be sweaty.
That
by the
reference
end of
went
this.
over the students' heads. I think.
Yeah, went over by about the length of football field over their head. So I wanted to play football. So I said I want to walk on. So I wrote snail mail letters to Coach Dick McPherson.
Wow.
And I sent him into Manley Fieldhouse, and I didn't hear anything back. So I wrote another letter, and I didn't hear anything back. And I wrote another letter. And it was getting close to summer when I knew the players would be reporting for freshman camp. I said, Coach, I was all conference in Rochester, Michigan. I was captain of my football team. All these things. Never heard anything. So I'm thinking, I must have the wrong zip code, right? I must have the wrong address. That's the only reason that Coach Mack isn't saying, come on, young man. So I wrote about 7 letters. And I was told this years later that Coach Mack came into one of the early, deep summer coaches meetings with 7 letters, and they had to go through everything on the football team. And he goes, this kid from Rochester, Michigan wants to come and walk on. And he assigned one of the coaches to write me a letter or call me and said, you got a 4-day tryout. And it was late July, I want to say. So I said goodbye to all my high school friends. I was the first person to go to college in my graduating high school class because I was reporting to football camp so early. And I said, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be back in 4 days, not make the team, or if I'm going to be back in 4 years.
Wow.
And I get a little emotional thinking about it because I was able to show something to the coaches, and I made it to the football team, and I made it through this university, and my life has been changed for the better because of it. And I'm not trying to be maudlin or anything, but this is what this day is about, people. I'm telling you right now, everyone watching this has some story. It might not have anything to do with athletics.
That's it,
but,
right?
But it has a story about this location, this special place
Yep.
that altered the course of their life.
Right.
And have enjoyed success in whatever field of endeavor, and enjoyed success in life, not just in a career.
A person they met, a classmate,
Yes.
a coach,
Yes.
a professor, someone who gave them that little something that allowed them to then go out into the world and figure out how to do it.
Yep. And the fact that we get the opportunity to give back right now, and it's as easy, and I don't mean to sound like the telethon shill, but I'm going to do it. It's as easy as clicking the button now. And again, as we've impressed upon you, as Maddie just told us, our goal is not necessarily a dollar amount. It is the number of donors. The number of donors. So if you can give $20 right now, you count as one donor, and that's going to fill up our telethon thermometer to achieve our goal. And we're going until midnight. So we're here all day and all night, and we just hope you would consider being generous to this special place that has impacted us so much.
And I got to say, this is authentic at every level. The energy that you have brought in here, you walked in here at about 7:45 this morning at this level. And I have a feeling that at 11:44, you may be a little more disheveled, but you'll be at that energy level. It's authentic, that story's authentic, and that's what it's all about. And that's what, what I think makes this so special. These stories are so real.
No, I love this place. I fell in love with it going through all of the great information and entertainment we were going to have through this entire show on the plane over here. And I always joke, when you don't have talent, you better have enthusiasm. And you can control one or the other. And so I intend to be the most enthusiastic person on any show that I work on any endeavor that I do, and I hope it's well received.
You, my friend, are a double thread. You got them both.
Well,
you got them both, and we appreciate it. We're going to end this segment with a musical performance from an alumna named Lorenza Ponce. She is amazing. She's a talented rock violinist. She's performed with Bon Jovi, Sheryl Crow, Ben Folds, Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates, our old
many.
school
Yeah, we're
style.
talking about people we know here, right? I had the opportunity to host an event with her, an evening at Lubin House in New York City. She's an amazing person, a great talent. Lubin, of course, is our headquarters right there in Manhattan. And she is back there, did a little performance for us. So she's going to play us out. We will be back at 1:44 with more Boost the Cuse. But right now, Lorenza Ponce.
Hi, I'm Lorenza Ponce, a proud VPA alumna and the violinist for Bon Jovi, among others. This is a special performance today for you, Syracuse.